Welcome to TWD Symbolism Analysis, hosted by me at TWD Music Box Mystery, also known as author Lisa K. Hill. This is where we totally geek out about the recurring symbols we see in the show, what they mean, how they connect, and what they foreshadow. So if you're a TWD geek, come over to the dark side. We have Daryl. Hello there, Walking Dead enthusiasts. I have decided to start turning some of my theories into videos. I'm glad you're here with me. I run an account called TWD Music Box Mystery. You can find me on Instagram and Tumblr. I'm on Twitter. I'm a few other places, but mostly Instagram and Tumblr, and now YouTube. I'm also an author Lisa K. Hill. I write my own fiction, but we are here for the love of The Walking Dead. So let me tell you my story and what I'm going to be doing in these videos so you can decide if they're right for you or not. So I'm somebody who watched the series from the very beginning. I still remember the day that it came on. I was in college. I was living with my sister, and I told her I wanted to watch it. She'd seen promos for it, but she, I don't think, was that interested. And I said, well, I don't know if it'll be good, but I just want to watch the first episode and see what it's like. And she was really surprised because she liked it. She was going, wow, that was a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. So after that, we were fans, and I will say that I was a loyal fan. By that, I mean I tuned in every week, but I wasn't necessarily a mega fan. I wasn't online talking about it or looking at memes or anything, but I liked it enough that I tuned in every week, and I really enjoyed the show. I really fell in love with it during season 4, and why is going to inform a lot of what these videos are about, so listen up here. I fell in love with it because of the ship that many people call Bethel. Beth and Daryl. So if you are not a Beth and Daryl fan, you are probably not going to enjoy my videos. It's not going to be just about them, but it's going to have a very, very heavy emphasis in them. But back to my story. I remember watching the first episode, 401, where we had kind of the Bethel hug, and then I didn't think too much about it. Again, I was just kind of, I don't want to say casual fan. I tuned in every week, but I wasn't thinking too heavily about it beyond watching it. And then I remember watching Still, which was episode 412, and it was pretty obvious to me from that episode that they were kind of a blooming romance, and I just kind of went, oh, this is cute, I like this. And then we hit episode 13. Episode 13 was sort of the rabbit hole for me, because for me, there's just something about, man falls in love with woman, they get separated and are searching for each other. Like, there's nothing that hooks me faster than that storyline. And Walking Dead uses that a lot, which is why I'm a huge fan of the show. It's like, if you needed to hook me specifically as a person, that's how you would do it, and that's what The Walking Dead does. So I remember watching Alone, and, the whole thing, they're in the funeral home, and the zombies come to the front door, and she goes out the window, and he does his thing, and, leads them into the basement. And then I remember watching the part where he gets out there, and the car drives away, and I just remember staring at the TV and going, did she just get kidnapped? And I knew myself well enough to know right then I was a diehard fan, and everything changed. Even then, I didn't do what I am doing now, which was to be super into it and super analyzing the symbolism. But I remember after season 4 being online a lot more, looking at memes, looking at people's theories, looking at filming spoilers, and that was the first time I'd ever done that. Then season 5 comes around, and like most people, I fully expected a reunion between the two of them and a romance to bloom, and I was really, really shocked when Coda aired and she got shot. I remember my jaw being on the floor. I remember being super sad about it and really, really shocked. And I was so invested in it at that point that it really felt like a death to me. And I actually just had to get offline for 2 weeks. I couldn't look at anything because I was too sad and it was too much. After 2 weeks, I kind of forced myself to get back online and move past it. And I remember thinking I was being really stupid because this is a fictional character, but I really felt that strongly about it. And I don't remember exactly how I found Team Delusional. I don't remember the exact moment or anything, but somehow, looking around online within a day or two, I found Team Delusional. Now, if you're not familiar with what Team Delusional is, we are a very small niche in the fandom who believes that Beth's death was a fake out and that she will be back. Chances are some of you have heard of us because we get made fun of a lot. We get a lot of hate online, mostly from people who ship Daryl and Carol, and from the spoiler side as well. Unfortunately, they don't like us very much, and they've probably mentioned us in a really mocking or disdainful way. So I'm going to say it again. This video series is going to analyze TWD symbolism, and I'm going to do that in all parts of the show in which I see the symbolism to be analyzed. But there will be a heavy emphasis on Beth coming back. I do believe she will be back. We're actually hoping that we'll see her this season. We can't be sure. Nobody knows for sure. But these are going to be my theories. And, you know, if that really bothers you, then you're probably not going to like these movies. I would ask that you respect my opinion. I could be wrong. Hey, I'm willing to admit that. And I don't think that I am. But I will respect your right to disagree with me and have your own theories. That is perfectly okay. That's what a fandom is for. But I ask that you not put hate on my videos. I am somebody who will block you for putting hate on my videos. So just giving you a warning. Let's all be respectful here. And if you don't like what I have to say, then hey, you don't have to watch my videos. They're not for everybody. Our fandom was originally called Team Delusional, which was sort of a tongue-in-cheek reference to we're being delusional and thinking she's really alive, even though we saw her get shot in the head. Later, people tried to change the name to Team Defiance because they were worried that Team Delusional might be a little bit offensive to people. It was one of those things that didn't entirely work. We all still kind of go by Team Delusional, but we also go by Team Defiance. So either way, you can call us either one. Usually I'll just refer to us as TD, and that works for either. So, in short, the goal of this video series is just to lay out my theories. As I said, I've been doing this since season 5, so actually I didn't quite finish my story. I got back on, I found Team Delusional. I decided that I wasn't sure I wanted to believe in these theories because I was still really reeling and feeling kind of hurt over what had happened, and I didn't want to get my hopes up for something that was untrue. And so I decided that I needed to decide for myself whether this was true or whether it was just people hoping that that was the case. And I went through every Team Delusional theory I could find. I read them, I looked at their evidence, I went back into the episode and looked for myself at what they were talking about and what they were pointing out. And really pretty quickly, I don't know how fast, probably within a week, I went, yep, you know what, they're right. And that's probably why I felt so weird about this and so gross about it, is because not only did I love the character, but there was just something really off about it. It didn't seem natural in a way. It didn't seem like that could possibly be where they were going with it. And yeah, I know that sounds just like, that's just my belief of things, but also understand that I'm an author and I'm a storyteller, and I can see story structure in the way people see words on a page. And I wasn't even really thinking about it when I watched Coda and when I was dealing with the emotion of it afterwards, but I realize now that a big part of that was the way that they had set up the story. They set it up in a very particular way, and then they sort of completely threw a corkscrew in it and went the other way, and that just didn't seem quite right. Now, of course, the biggest argument against that is it was just sloppy writing. They changed their mind, something happened, and of course that's possible, but once you've been studying the show, the structure, the symbolism, the way they foreshadow, the way they do things, even behind the scenes, even in terms of different actors and different characters, and even though they have a lot of deaths on the show, they kill off a lot of characters. I'm telling you, you're just going to have to take my word for it right now because this is the first video. That is not what happened. They planned it that way. And if they planned it that way, then they planned for a return. One of my goals in analyzing the symbolism and doing my blog and now doing these videos is to try to prove that to you. So if you're at all interested in having that proved to you, then stick around and watch more of these movies. I want to reiterate that I've been doing this for a long time, so most of these are theories that I already have and have already fleshed out on my blog, and I'm just going to make them into a different medium so people can watch them as videos. So if you're interested, you can go find all of this stuff on my blog at twdmusicboxmystery.tumblr.com. I do have a theory and edit index that you can click on in my bio. It's a lot to scroll through if you're just going back chronologically. And finally, what I'd like to say is that I actually have posts that say what TD has been right about. We've been right about most things. Obviously, Beth has not returned yet, and that's our biggest thing, so people use that to discredit us, and I completely understand, you know, until and unless she comes back, we certainly can't claim that we were right about that. But using the same symbolism that we see around her and use to predict her return, we use that same symbolism for other things, and we've been right like 99% of the time. One thing I was wrong about was who Negan's victim would be. It was Glenn and Abraham, and I didn't think it would be them. That was probably the biggest thing I was wrong about. Other than that, pretty much everything that I've predicted using this symbolism has been correct. It's come to pass. And I always try to emphasize this in my posts. I don't say that because I'm so awesome. I don't say that to toot my own horn or because I'm so smart or because I'm a great guesser. Really, it is a structure. It is a set of rules they use symbolically. They put certain symbols and types of symbolism around certain things, and you can use that to predict where the story is going. And once you figure out what the symbols mean, and we have spent 5 years looking at all of the instances of them and trying to figure it out, you can usually figure out where they're going to go with it. So to give you an example, there's Glenn. Before Negan killed him in season 6, he had a death fake out, the thing where he, fell off the dumpster and ended up crawling under the dumpster and nobody knew whether he was alive for a few episodes. Fandom was pretty split down the middle of people saying he was alive and people saying he was dead. And of course, most people hoped he was alive. Other people would say they hoped he was dead, not because they hated Glenn, but because they hate death fake outs. If you hate death fake outs, don't watch The Walking Dead. Like, their entire story structure is built on death fake outs. So if you're the kind of person that's bugged by that, you would not like the show, and why are you still watching it, Anyway, we used the same symbolism around Beth to look at Glenn. And I actually have, you can go back and see, in 2000, what would that have been, 16? When that aired, I said, okay, well, based on the symbolism, if Beth is alive, then Glenn is alive. If Glenn turns out to be dead, then we're screwed. TD, I mean, because Beth is not alive, because it's the exact same symbolism. But I'm telling you, Glenn is alive. Look what happened. Glenn was alive in the dumpster instance. And you might say, yeah, but he was killed later by Negan. That's true. But none of that symbolism was present when he was killed by Negan. Only when he went under the dumpster, because it was they used the symbolism to show a death fake out. And that sequence was the death fake out. They didn't put it around him when Negan showed up, because that was not going to be a death fake out. That was really him dying. So that was a big one. And again, it was not a guess. It was not, we hope he's alive because we love Glenn, even though we did. It was really based on, I don't want to say scientific, it was based on symbolic evidence from the show that we had been looking at for a while at that point. And we've continued to do that throughout the years, and even really small things we've been right about, really big things we've been right about. So that is why we think Beth is alive, because we've been right about all these other things. And as we head into more videos, I will attempt to show them to you and to get our points across. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It really is just for fun and for love of the show. And I hope you continue to join me and have a good time. All right, thanks. See you next time.